Today we're going to stop and think about the big picture a little bit. So we're going to think about where you are in various areas of your life and where you would like to be in those areas of your life. And where you would like to be in the different areas of your life could be called your goal. Now, everybody's familiar with setting goals on New Year's Eve, New Year's resolutions. Maybe you've given up doing it now, but certainly years ago when we were younger, we used to start the new year with all full of good intentions of all the amazing things we were going to do that year. Usually with New Year's resolutions, what actually happens is you are incredibly enthusiastic for a day or two, and then as the days and maybe the weeks go by, you forget, you fail, you go back to normal, and you forget all about it. Why do New Year's resolutions normally fail? Well, one of the reasons is that you need to not only have the goal, but you need to have a plan for getting from where you are now to where you want to be. Otherwise, your goal is just a wish or even a daydream. It takes work and it takes commitment. It doesn't just happen. Another reason that people fail in reaching their goals is often fear. Maybe you're afraid to even set yourself a goal in the first place because you're afraid that you're not going to make it. You fear failure, discomfort, a change in your lifestyle, and the comfort of just being in the familiar. And even if the long-term effects are going to be great, many people fear the temporary discomfort of the changes that they're going to have to make if they want to reach this goal. For example, if your goal is to save some money, then you might be well aware of the long-term benefit of sorting things out financially for yourself, but you may be afraid of the short-term inconvenience of not being able to buy certain things, not being able to spend money on things that you want to spend them on. So sometimes the problem really is that it just seems easier to carry on as we are than it does to face the inconveniences of making these changes. However, the satisfaction of achieving a goal that you have set yourself far outweighs the minor inconvenience of what you have to do to get there. But maybe you're wondering why it's necessary to set goals at all. Life is jogging along nicely, well, reasonably nicely, and there's no need to rock the boat. The reality is that you are probably spending your time doing a variety of activities every day, and most of them don't actually have anything to do with what you really want out of life. So having a goal enables you to focus your thoughts, your energy and your efforts on the things you actually want to accomplish. Because if you don't know where you want to be going, you're unlikely to get there. And having a goal gives you direction, it gives you something to aim for, it helps you work out what's important to you, and you get a great satisfaction in achieving it. Not only that, but even making small steps towards your goal will give you a massive amount of confidence, and it makes you accountable, even if it's only to yourself. So how do we go about setting some goals? Well, we're going to do in the next video a goal setting exercise where you can set yourself some goals, look at different areas of your life, decide what you want out of those areas, and actually make some plans to make progress towards it. So for the next video, you will need a big sheet of paper and a pencil, something to jot things down with, because we're going to go right in and do some goal setting. I'm going to put a picture up in a moment of what I want you to copy down, and you will need to pause the video while you do that, and then later on each time we've got an activity to do, if you just pause it and for as long as you need, and then continue when you've done the exercise. So the first thing that we're going to do this exercise based on something called the Wheel of Life. And basically this is a circle which you're going to draw, and I'll put it up after I've just explained it for you. It's a circle, as you see, which is divided into 8 segments, a little bit like when you used to play that game of Trivial Pursuit. So you divide your circle into 8 segments, and then along each radius like this, you need to number it 0 in the middle down to 10 at the outside. Now, if you put numbers all the way down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that, on each of these, it doesn't matter whether you do these other circles or not. If you want to, if you can do that quite easily, that's quite a good way to do it, but otherwise just leave it blank, it doesn't matter. And then you're going to put these 8 categories on your wheel. So 8 categories are family and friends, significant other / romance, fun and recreation, health, money, personal growth and spirituality, physical environment, and career. So if you can just pause this now and start again when you've got your wheel in front of you with those categories marked on it. Okay, so I'm assuming that you have your wheel of life in front of you now. So I want you to, again, when I've just explained, then pause the video and take as long as you need for this exercise. But just look one by one at these categories. Think about how satisfied you are with that area of your life and give it a score from 0 to 10 according to how satisfied you are. I think it's particularly relevant to do it right now, because even though your goals will probably be different from what you may have put down a year ago because of the strange time that we're in, but actually lots of people are losing focus a little bit, and I think that this is a really good exercise to do at the moment, just to see where the areas are in your life where you're struggling and where the areas are where you're quite satisfied. So look at each area, give it a score from 1 to 10, and then draw a line across that section at the level of that number. And this is the sort of thing I'm talking about. This is one which somebody has already filled in for me. And then I want you to take the 5 areas which have the lowest scores. That means that you are the most dissatisfied with them. And I want you to write them down in a list. And then when you've made the list, I want you to rate them in order of priority. So number 1 is the area on that list which you would most like to do something about. Number 2 is the second, then down to 3, 4 and 5. So pause this now and then start again when you've got your list and you've written down the areas of your life in order of priority of doing something about them. Okay, now take a new piece of paper and take the area of your life where you've given it priority number 1, and that is to say it's the most important area that you want to do something about. and put the name of that area as a heading at the top of the page. And then I want you to write a few sentences about why you are dissatisfied with that area of your life. Now, I want you to write down where you would like to be in this area of your life in 5 years' time. And then, when you've done that, I want you to make this goal a little bit more specific. So, for example, if you've put that you would like to become a teacher, then put more detail. So, what kind of a teacher, what subject you want to teach, who do you want to teach it to, that sort of thing. So, try and make your goal not just a general goal, but quite specific. And then write a sentence or two explaining why this is important to you and how it would change your life. And then when you've done that, I want you to list the steps that are needed in order to reach that goal. So going back to the first example, if you put that you would like to become a teacher, then you not just go to college, but the actual steps needed in order to do that. So investigating what courses are available, how much it's going to cost, all that sort of thing. So specific steps which would be needed in order to reach that goal. Now have a look at that and make sure that your goal and the steps needed are reasonable and possible. Because if they're not, if you're setting it too high, then you will be setting yourself up for failure and then you'll get discouraged. So make sure that your goal's reasonable, make sure the steps to achieve it are achievable. And then when you've done that, I want you to put a time scale by each step that you've written down. Now look what you've written and ask yourself these questions. Do I have the skills needed to reach this goal? If not, then the very first goal should be to get those skills. Are my timescales reasonable? Am I willing to invest the time and effort which will be needed? And am I physically capable of achieving this? And then, depending on your timescales that you've written down, I want you to write down what can I do in the next month in order to start working towards this goal. And then, what can I do in the next week in order to start moving towards this goal? And then, what can I do today to start moving towards this goal? You can take as long as you like over this exercise. You can go back over it. You can change what you've written. And this is just in the one area of your life. So it's entirely up to you. You can go back and look at the next area and do exactly the same exercise, or you can concentrate on this first one and give this your thought and attention for the time being. But I do suggest that you use this. It's a really useful exercise to clarify what you want in a particular area of your life that you're not satisfied with at the moment, and it really gives you a good help in working out what you're going to do about it. Life rarely goes according to plan, as we've all discovered this last year. But at least if you have a plan, then you do stand some chance of achieving your goals. You will have more of a sense of direction, and you will have a way of measuring your progress and not just drifting along, but really knowing where you're going and what you're aiming for. Of course, there'll be times when we have to modify the plan because things haven't worked out as we were expecting, but this will just give you a framework that you can keep going back to, you can keep checking yourself against, and you'll be able to work out a way of getting around the obstacles and keeping on track. Your goals and your plans will have to stay flexible if you want to succeed at them. You may have to adjust the time scale if something unexpected comes along and stops you from doing the things that you were expecting in the time scale that you put down, but don't give up on the goal altogether. And you might have a goal, for example, of buying something like a new car, but then if household bills or something comes along that was unexpected, you may have to revise the time scale for it. Make adjustments, but don't be afraid to revise it, but don't give up on your goal altogether. You will need to get organised, you will need to work out what steps you need to take, you will need to work out a method to follow your plan, and to check that your specific steps to your goal are detailed enough. So if you've said, I need to do more exercise, then you need to have put, I'm going to get up at this time in the morning and I'm going to do this particular exercise. I'm going to make a schedule, I'm going to follow it, I'm going to tick the box when I've done it, I'm going to make a list to check. These are the steps you need to take to ensure that you follow the plan that you're making. But believe in yourself, you can do this. Lots of people give up on the first hurdle because they just think, oh, I won't be able to do it. You can do it. You will give yourself a massive amount of confidence and satisfaction by seeing that you're achieving things that you desire and seeing the progress that you're making. Some people say that you should keep your goals entirely private. Some people find it helpful to tell other people what their goals are, and so that they've got someone to be accountable to. I always love hearing what goals people have set and how they're getting on with achieving them. So you're more than welcome to contact me, and I would love to hear from you. But be confident, be inspired, and let's see how you get on.